And welcome back to The Factor Uncensored. Work can be stressful, we all know that, but not for the Gen Z crowd. A new study shows Generation Z looks at work as more of a side hustle or side gig, but they look at life as their main job. My next guest explains why Gen Z refuses to let work stress them out like many of us older people do.
You know, Nicole, these damn Gen Zers are always doing the most. Now they are considering their life most important as their full-time job and their actual job as their gig. How does that calculate? How does that work in their minds, Nicole? And they said older folk like us are pissed off about it. Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A tad, just a tad. Well, they definitely have a different outlook. You know, for the longest, we were talking about the millennials and, you know, that entitlement and different things. I think they've taken it to just very much a different level when it comes to
a new level.
A new level. And it's not work-life balance, it's more of life-work balance, because life is definitely coming first. And I guess for the workforce, that's something. Because now you need these people, right? These are the top of the techs. Like, this is the top of the techs in our, in our world today. So you need their expertise, you need their input if you want to continue to move forward. So you have to find a way to work with this generation. I think my generation, we've been, kind of conditioned to go to school, get a good job, work through the job, be loyal to your company, long-term will pay off. I know our generation probably started, tech with the microwave and the computers and things like that. So I'm telling my age a little bit.
Did you just say tech and microwave?
Microwave, it seemed like that was a long time ago, but here we are. But I just think that this generation, we're gonna have to find a way to be able to work with them. So I think sometimes our generation gets so focused, and this whole thing with the pandemic have showed us that people get so focused on 8 to 5 or 9 to 5 and not the end product. So right. I think they're going to make us have to deal with the end product more so than the time that's spent sitting down behind a desk.
Now, would this be the same group that we saw in the Great Resignation during the pandemic, those who walked away from their jobs?
Absolutely. We do staffing. I mean, that's one of the things, services that we do provide. And it doesn't matter what we post on the job. It does not have to say remote. When we call, they're asking, is it remote? If we say no, they're not interested. So I'm just like, oh my goodness, it has changed so much until I think executive management teams are going to have to try to find a way to work with this group, because we can't ignore this group.
Right.
We can't ignore this group. We need them. So we're going to have to find a way to work with them. So if it's going to be, more of the gig type of work where they are involved in projects, if you want to have them long-term, they don't believe in long-term. They want to get the experience however and wherever they want to travel. They're taking, gap years. We didn't have the luxury of taking a gap year to travel, but they're taking gap years to travel. Travel and move, and vacation is at the top of the list. Work is just a means of getting to the travel.
Nicole, it sounds like a generation of drug dealers. You can't have me full time. I just want to get this little lick and move on.
And I'm gone. And I'm going to give you the best that I have. Now one thing I will say, they are very diverse and they're very inclusive. So that's definitely one major highlight with that particular group. They're very inclusive. They're operating in what's, we consider the political environment for today. And they do take that very seriously.
Is it not necessarily a bad thing that their lives come first?
Not at all. Not when we realize life is short, and we're just probably a little angry because we are too cautious to just throw it out into the wind, and do that. But they throw caution into the wind. I don't know. They get with their groups, they're doing all different types of things, finding different gigs, making their life work. You know, they're balancing their life with the work, and they're making it work. And the thing about it is they're not compromising on that. That they want what they want, and they're not compromising on it.
Incredible, the Generation Z. Nicole Bello with Human Resources Consultant. Thank you for joining us here on the Factor Uncensored, and always good to see you.
Incredible. I think I'm just a little jealous of Generation Z. They kind of do what they want to do. A gap break. I wish I knew what that was. I could take one.